Hey, welcome back to the Getting to This Place podcast with Reeya Banerjee and Luke Folger. Reeya's got a new album, This Place, coming out soon. We are going song by song through the record. We've done a few episodes so far. This one is episode 4, and the song we're talking about is called Blue and Gray.
Becoming an expert at cross-country moves. At age 9, they thought I had nothing to lose. They all say, don't you feel lucky? How the hell could you do this to me?
And when we were discussing this just before we started rolling this record here, Reeya made a comment that I'm going to pick up on right now where she said, this one might be polarizing. What did you mean by that?
So, yeah, it's fresh on my mind. Literally 2 days ago, I went to Beacon to see a friend's band play and was hanging out with some folks afterwards. And, one of them was, someone I've known kind of as an acquaintance for a while, but we were kind of talking more in detail. And he asked me where I grew up. I said, I grew up in San Francisco. And he goes, you grew up in San Francisco? Why the hell would you leave San Francisco? Why and come here? Like, San Francisco's beautiful. Why would you come here? And I was like, I kind of have a song about that on the new record. A lot of people are going to say, hey, San Francisco's great. Why did you leave? I hated living in San Francisco. I didn't want to move. It was the second cross-country move we had done in 3 years. I had finally gotten used to not being the new kid anymore in Chicago. I was a part of a children's choir. I had friends there. I was like, things are going great. Why are we doing this again? And I was 9. My parents were like, oh, this is going to be so great. It's San Francisco. It's beautiful there. It's got a Mediterranean climate. We won't have to deal with shoveling in the winter and stuff like that. It's going to be fantastic. Maybe the climate will be better for my mom's health, XYZ, stuff like that. And I was just like, no. I don't want to do this again. This sucked the first time. I don't want to do this again. I kind of went into it kicking and screaming. We went there for my 9th birthday. And I didn't know it was my 9th birthday being tacked on to my dad's job interview for the job that brought us there. And he got the job offer. And then that same night, they were going to take me out for my birthday. And they were like, hey, surprise, we're moving to San Francisco. Like, it was a big birthday gift. And I started crying, just crying hysterically. There's photos of me in my little birthday dress, ready to go out for dinner, tears streaming down my face. I don't know why they took a picture of it, but right. I mean, I was like, a surprise, and I was like, this is not a birthday gift I wanted. So I went into it kicking and screaming, and then I spent the rest of my childhood there, and I was always just really ambivalent about that. And everyone was like, oh, my parents' friends, people would come to visit us from out of state. Isn't this cool that you're growing up here? Nah. That was always my
Luke, have you spent any time in San Francisco?
Yeah, I had a friend who lived there, and I went through there on tour, actually, with the band. So we rolled in a van, and only for one night it's easy to handle, but as a 9-year-old who does not want to live there, it's much more difficult.
Yeah. There's that famous quote about what the coldest winter I ever spent was summer in San Francisco. Yeah. Yeah, I've done the same thing rolling through there. When the first time I rolled through San Francisco in the middle of the night, I found Lombard Street, and I
of course
down about 6 times just because it was fun.
Yeah,
it is fun. Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a meditation. I mean, I could tell you a lot of people have that similar thing about other cities in the country too. People have this magical image of these places, and they're not all they're cracked up to be. Mm-hmm. There's a line in the song that struck me as interesting, and I'll just throw it out there, and I'll let one of you jump in and respond, which was, I find myself wishing that you were not buried where I never cared to arrive.
Yeah. That's a long sentence when you say it out loud like that.
Yeah, but you feel the meter of it. I mean, the nice thing about this, the lyrics on this record, I'll just say as a general thing, there's the flow for each song is appropriate to the song. And there's a nice rolling, none of it feels stilted, none of it feels forced. It feels really like it's coming out of, you know, somebody's mouth who is having these thoughts for the first time.
Cool.
That's good to hear.
Good to know. Yeah, for an
I
mean,
overthinker
that's
like me.
that's just my 2 cents as a guy who's been writing songs for 30 years, but
Ah,
what do I know?
That's good. That's incredible. Yeah,
Um,
that line was actually, we were mixing a lot of different, I would say, with each of these songs, there's a lot of different timelines intersecting at once, right? So in San Francisco, a lot happened. You lived there for a while, but it's also like the place where your mother ended up being buried, right? And so I had this vision of like Reeya trying to make peace with the location, but also talking to someone who's buried there at the same time, and like just kind of referring to like, you know, talking to someone who's gone, and you also don't live there anymore. It just kind of worked out.
yeah. My mom passed away when I was 12. The cancer came back. I mean, she was a fighter. She beat it back several times, and then at a certain point, you know, cancer treatment is worse than cancer. It's often what people who are survivors of cancer say. And her body just couldn't take it anymore. You know, and I think that that's also, you know, from a 12-year-old's point of view, who was already like not happy to be moving to San Francisco, and it's like, and then mom died, so this place sucks even more.
Yeah.
You know, but she's buried there. Her ashes, she was cremated, and her ashes are in a admittedly beautiful cemetery in St. Helena. It's in the Napa Valley.
Mhm.
She loved visiting there. She wasn't really a wine drinker, but she loved visiting Napa.
I actually know the town. I have been there.
Yeah,
I am a wine drinker.
Yeah, there you go.
But well, you know what? I just want to close this up. I want to just mention one thing that I find interesting and let you, Reeya, have the last word on this, which is that, you know, the album, as I've said, has a kind of an overwhelmingly uplifting and positive tone to it. It's interesting to me that you guys have collaborated to write a song essentially about a family fracturing and death and burial, and, you know, and not you didn't make the whole album about tragedy. You found a way through to like turn these emotional memories into something, you know, a little more philosophical.
Yeah. I mean, and then, you know, when we're talking about it in the context of this song, you know, like Luke said, it's the idea of, you know, coming to accept the reality that, you know, my mother is buried someplace that I didn't want to go to, and she's there, and that's where she wanted to be buried. You got to respect that. I don't go back to San Francisco a whole lot, so I haven't been to her gravesite in quite a while, but she's there. My father has made it known that when he passes, hopefully he lives a good long life. But his intention is to be cremated and have his ashes there with her. They'll both be there. That's what they want. And I'm happy that that's what will be the outcome for both of them. And I'm happy that she is where she wanted to be. I wish she was someplace where I could come and see her more often and not feel, you know, just the I guess it's about, when I think about it now, the song is a little bit about learning how to live with the uncomfortable feeling of ambivalence about something so heavy, you know, and just being like, okay, this is reality, and this is what it is, and I just wish it wasn't like, you know, I wish it wasn't in this place where I felt so miserable and out of place and like I didn't belong. But she's there.
And there it is. All right. Well, let's leave that one there. And thanks again, guys. Thanks to those of you out there watching and listening. And we'll pick up with the next song in the next episode. See you soon.